All right, guys, we're going to get started on our math lesson. We are on lesson 4.6, and in your book, that's on page 199, but we're going to go to page 200. So if you'll turn to page 200 in your book, we're going to go ahead and get started with the video first, and then we'll go back and do our work together. We'll get right back into it. I wonder how much of us remember what we were working on. We started with our division. So today's going to be about dividing with a 1 or a 0 and how that affects the division problem. So let's go ahead and start with our video.
Goldfish make great pets.
How do you divide with 1 or 0? Think about this question during the lesson. Neil has 3 bowls. He puts 1 goldfish in each bowl. How many goldfish did Neil put in bowls? Find 3 divided by 1. You can start to solve this problem using multiplication. What number times 1 is 3? Select your answer.
All right, so is it going to be 3 or is it going to be 1? So let's look at 1 times 1. If we do 1 times 1, will that equal 3? It'll equal 1, won't it? So 3 times 1 will equal 3. And if we have 3 goldfish divided into 1 vase each, there will be 3 goldfish in 3 separate vases, won't there?
3 times 1 equals 3. So 3 divided by 1 equals 3. Neil put 3 goldfish in bowls. So if you divide 3 goldfish into groups of 1, you get 3 groups. The rule for dividing by 1 is that any number divided by 1 is itself. Now let's try 3 divided by 3. To find 3 divided by 3, think 3 times what number equals 3? Select your answer.
Okay, so let's go back to that again. We have 3 goldfish and we have 3 vases with water in them. How many fish will be in each vase? Right, 1. 3 times 1 is 3. So 3 divided by 3 is 1.
3 times 1 equals 3. So 3 divided by 3 equals 1. So if you divide 3 goldfish into groups of 3, you get 1 group. So the rule for 1 as a quotient is that any number except 0 divided by itself is 1. Now let's find 0 divided by 3. Think 3 times what number equals 0? 3 times 0 equals 0. So 0 divided by 3 equals 0. You start with 0 goldfish and divide them into groups of 3. There are 0 groups. So the rule for dividing 0 by a number is that 0 divided by any number except 0 is 0. Now let's try dividing by 0. 0 times what number equals 3? There is no such number. So 3 divided by 0 can't be done. Groups of 0 do not make any sense. So the rule for dividing by 0 is that you cannot divide any number by 0. Now you know all the rules for dividing with 0 and 1.
Okay, so let's pause that real quick. So rule for dividing by 1, any number divided by 1 will be itself, will be that number. So 3 divided by 1 will be 3. Rule for 1 is a quotient. Any number except 0 divided by itself is 1. Next rule for dividing 0 by a number, 0 divided by any number except 0 is 0. And rule for dividing by 0, you cannot divide any number by 0. Because how can you break up nothing into something? All right, let's go over to our camera and we'll get busy starting on our page 200. All righty. So on the bottom of page 200, we have our convince me. Let's see if we can get that to focus in a little bit. Let's give it a second here. All right, here it comes. All right. Sue wrote 9 invitations. She put 1 invitation in each mailbox on her street. How many mailboxes got invitations? Which equation shows the problem and the solution? Explain your thinking. All right. So 0 divided by 9 equals 0. Or is it 9 divided by 1 equals 9? Okay. So she has 9 invitations. Okay, those are my invitations. And then I'll do like a little box for my mailboxes. All right, so that's my little mailbox right here. All right, so she has 9 invitations, 9 divided up by 1. This one goes there, this one goes there, this one goes over here, this one goes here, this one goes all the way over there. Okay, so how many does each one get? They get 1. And how many times did I do that? I did that 9 times. So the equation that explains the problem is 9 divided by 1 equals 9. All right. If you need to pause, you can. We're going to go over to page 201. So on the top, it says, how can you tell without dividing? So without dividing, we're not going to draw anything. We're not going to write any numbers. How can you tell without dividing that 375 divided by 375 will equal 1? How can you tell? We can write because we know that 1 times 375 equals 375. So 375 divided by 375, you can only do that 1 time. Can you see that one okay? Let me see if I can try to make it a little darker. I think it's probably just going to be best without that light. Yeah. I just didn't want it to be too dark. Okay. Number 2, describe how you can find 0 divided by 1. How would we describe that? So we would describe it as 0 divided by any number will equal 0. So if we have 1 times 0, it's going to equal 0. So if we have 0 divided by 1, it will equal 0. Go ahead and pause if you need to get all of this written down. All right, we're going to go to number 3 and 4. In 3 and 4, solve the multiplication equation to find each quotient. Remember, a quotient is the answer to a division problem. It says here, remember, you cannot divide any number by 0. So 8 divided by 8 is the same as 8 times what will give you 8? That's 1. So if we switch this around, 8 divided by 8 will equal 1. Find 0 divided by 9. 9 times what number will give you 0? 9 times 0 will give you 0. So 0 divided by 9 equals 0. Now hopefully this won't be too hard. Hopefully this will be really easy. Let's go ahead. We're going to do all of the evens on this lesson. So let's circle 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Okay. So on this part here, leveled practice in 5 through 7. Solve the multiplication equation to find each quotient. Find 4 divided by 4. It's going to be the same answer here as this answer is going to be. So 4 times what will equal 4? That would be 1. So 4 divided by 4 would be 1. Because in our fact family, remember, we've got 4, 4, and a 1. And we have to have all of them included, to our problems. Okay, number 8. Excuse me. Find each quotient. So number 8 says 3 divided by 3. Excuse me, I had to get a drink of water. All right. So I know that 3 times what number would be 3? And I know that's going to be 1. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. All right, number 10. 5 divided by 5 is the same as saying 5 times what will equal 5? 5 times 1 will equal 5. Make sure that looks like a 1. 12. 6 divided by 6 is the same as 6 times what equals 6? And we know that is 1. Number 14. 25 divided by 25 is the same as 25 times what equals 25? We know that is 1. Don't be too quick to just write ones on everything because you're going to want to pay attention to the problem. Case in point, find 0 divided by 8. That is the same as 8 times what equals 0. The only thing that can be to make it 0 would be 0. So 8 divided by 0, 0 divided by 8 is 0. Find 10 divided by 10, which is the same as 10 times what equals 10. And we know that 10 times 1 will equal 10. Right. If you need to get any of these answers, please push pause right now, and then you can join us on the next page when you are finished, okay? On the back side. All right. We're going to do problem 20, 22, 24, and 26. Just those 4. All the evens. All right, number 20. What we're looking at here is we're using this picture at the right. It looks like we've got some directions. Where whatever the blue is, it's this way for 3 miles. The white is this way for 5 miles. The red is this way for 2 miles, and the green is off that way for 4 miles. So it says, Marty hikes one of the trails 4 times. In all, he hikes more than 10 miles, but less than 16. Which trail does he hike? Explain your answer. All right, so it says he hikes the trail 4 times, and he gets more than 10 miles, but less than 16. So let's start with the blue. We're going to put a B for blue, and that's 3 times 4 equals 12. That's how many miles. And then we've got white is 5 miles times 4 is 20. Let's do our red. Red says 2 miles times 4 would equal 8. And green is 4 miles times 4 equals 16. So let's look at that. It says that it has to be between 10 and 16. All right, is 12 between 10 and 16? 10, 11, 12, yep. Is 20 between 11 and 16? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Nope, that would be too far. Red, 2 times 8, or 4 equals 8. That would not be enough because it said at least 10 miles, but not more than 16. And then 4 times 4 equals 16. Would that work? So we're going to circle our blue and our gray. Which trail does he hike? Okay, so if it says it's between, but it's less than 16, that's 16, isn't it? So he hikes the blue trail. Okay? And the reason we know that is because it's the only one that falls into the other directions. So we solved it just so we could see these answers here. Okay. Number 22, Fiona hiked on Wednesday and Sunday. Each day she hiked all of the trails. How many miles did Fiona hike? Okay. It says she hiked on Wednesday and Sunday, so 2 different days. Each day she hiked all of the trails. So the first step, step 1, we have to add up our miles. Okay, so 3 plus 5 plus 2 plus 4. Well, these are 8, and these are 6, so that equals 14. She hiked 14 miles altogether. Okay, go ahead and pause this if you need to get a little bit more written down. Number 24, higher order thinking. Yvonne says that 0 divided by 21 and 21 divided by 0 both have a quotient of 0. Is Yvonne correct? Explain. Okay. If I have 0 divided by 21, is 0, and 21 divided by 0 is, we can't do it. It's an error. On this one, we have nothing, but we're going to divide up nothing in 21. So how much do you have when you're done? Nothing. If you start with 21, you have something, don't you? When you divide them by 0, it can't equal 0, because if you have 21 things and you've given 0 of them away, that means you're still at 21. Okay, make sure you get all of that written down. And number 26, a group shares 9 stickers equally among 9 friends. 9 stickers, 9 friends. Write an equation and solve to show the number of stickers each friend receives. So we know how to do this. 9 friends times a group of 9 stickers. If we do our 9s trick, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I put the 9th one down. I have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 1. So how many will each receive? A group. Oh, I did that wrong, guys. Scratch it out. Let's reread it. A group shares 9 stickers equally among 9 friends. 9 stickers divided up among 9 friends. Write an equation and solve to show the number of tickets each friend will get. Well, I know that 9 times what equals 9? I know it's a 1. So then this is going to be 1. So everyone gets 1 sticker. Sorry about that. I was on a whole nother planet on that one. All right, make sure you have all of that written down. Let's go over to our homework. So here are all the rules again. They list out when any number is divided by 1, the quotient is that number. For example, 7 divided by 1 is like 1 times 7 equals 7. So 7 divided by 1 equals 7. And you could have written this. When any number except 0 is divided by itself, the quotient is 1. 8 divided by itself, 8. 8 times what number is 8? 8 times 1 equals 8. So 8 divided by 8 equals 1. This is how we'd write it. One of those two ways. You don't have to do both. Next one is when 0 is divided by a number except 0, the quotient is 0. 0 divided by 5 equals what? 5 times what number is 0? 5 times 0 is 0. So 0 divided by 5 is 0. Okay, you can write both of those there. You cannot divide a number by 10. 9 divided by 0 equals what? 0 times what number is 9? There is no number that works so that 9 divided by 0 cannot be done. All right, so on our homework, we are going to be doing the even ones today. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 divided by 9, 6 divided by 6, 1 divided by 7, and 7 divided by 0. So draw, write, however you need to show that one. Okay, on the back side, it says ride tickets are $1 each. We're doing 10, and we're doing 12, 14, 16. Tanya spends $8 on ride tickets and gives an equal number of tickets to 8 friends. How many tickets does each friend get? So looking at them, how many does each one get? Write down your answers completely as possible. Number 12. Place the numbers 0, 1, 3, and 3 in the blanks so that the number sentence is true. Okay? So place the numbers 0, 1, 3, and 3 in the blank spaces so that the number sentence is true. Let's give it a shot. Oh, I can see. Okay. So you're trying to figure out where you're going to place 0, 1, 3, and 3. So 3 is greater than 0, and then there's a 1. Number 14. Write and solve a story problem that goes with 6 divided by 6. Remember what that would be? What times 6 will equal 6? And number 16, there are 7 ducklings. They sleep in one large nest. Write and solve an equation that shows how many ducklings sleep in the nest. 7 ducklings in one large nest. How many are in the nest? Just show your work there. Make sure I have everything. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and exit here. Right, there we are. Okay, so we're just working on the 0 and the 1 dividing. Okay, you can always flip it when you don't understand one and do a multiplication, but you're doing all of the even ones today, and we will correct that tomorrow. Okay, all right, guys. Well, I'm excited to be back and celebrating the new year with you guys, and we're just jumping right in and getting back to schoolwork because, well, that's what's important to do, and that will keep life feeling regular and controlled and normal. So that's what we're going to stick with. So I'm all finished with our math lesson for today. If you haven't listened to our read aloud video, you can do that. Or if you have any work you need to finish up, you could work on that. But other than that, this will be our last video of today. We have many more videos, but for today, the math one is going to be our ending video. So if you haven't finished all of your language arts, you can go and do that. All right, guys, if you have any questions, again, please let me know so we can work through it real quick and get it figured out. Okay? All right, guys. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the morning.